The Green Bay Packers are not just winning games. They are flipping the NFC on its head. 2 weeks into the season, and they look like the kind of team nobody was prepared for. A blockbuster trade brought in Micah Parsons, Josh Jacobs is wearing green and gold, and the front office has quietly built a roster that feels more dangerous than anything we have seen in years. What nobody saw coming is how fast all of these moves have clicked together. The Packers are playing with the kind of edge that makes you stop and wonder if the NFC has a new giant on the rise. But here is the twist. This is not the same old Packers storyline about waiting on the future or depending on one star. They reshaped their entire identity almost overnight. The defense is hunting, the offensive line looks unshakable, and the skill positions are stacked with young talent ready to break out. Every drive looks different, every matchup feels tilted, and for the first time in a long time, opponents are scrambling to keep up with Green Bay's tempo. It is the kind of sudden leap forward that can turn a good season into a shocking run. The most frightening part is how deep this roster actually island. Even without Christian Watson, they are rolling out receivers who can all take over a drive. Romeo Doubs, Jayden Reed, Matthew Golden, and more keep defenses second-guessing every snap. Add in a back like Josh Jacobs who can finish games by himself, and you realize why this offense feels impossible to contain. And this is where things get really interesting, because when you look past the depth and the weapons, you find the engine that makes it all run. That engine is Jordan Love, and he is the reason Green Bay's rise feels real. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Packers and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. The Green Bay Packers offense is the puzzle no one can solve right now, and that is not an exaggeration. Every snap shifts the picture, with motions that move safeties, bunch looks that create free releases, and quick tempo that forces simple mistakes to become big gains. What nobody is talking about is how often they win before the ball is even snapped, because the spacing and timing make a defense pick the wrong answer fast. It feels like a new look every drive, and that is why coordinators are playing catch-up. But here is the twist. This group is not leaning on one star to carry them. The slot threats, drag coverage inside, the outside routes bend leverage, and the backs punish soft boxes with clean cuts and screens. Tight ends finish drives and keep chains alive, with Tucker Kraft turning second and long into makeable downs in a way that changes the math. The backs are doing the dirty work too, meeting free rushers and buying the quarterback that extra beat that kills a blitz. It is layered, it is flexible, and it travels in any stadium. All of that creativity only matters if the quarterback can read it, sell it, and hit it. That is where the story turns. The way this offense steals easy yards and then lands a heavy shot works because one player keeps the whole picture calm. If you want to know why the Packers look this clean this early, it starts with number 10 and the choices he makes in real time. Next, we break down how Jordan Love turns design into damage and why that is the difference between a hot start and a real threat. The Green Bay Packers just found their closer at quarterback and it changes the entire picture. Jordan Love is turning tight windows into first downs with cool timing and clean ball placement, then stacking drives like a veteran who has seen every look. Against Detroit, he went 16 of 22 for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns, then followed it with 19 of 31 for 292 yards and 2 touchdowns against Washington, the kind of back-to-back that makes defensive plans fall apart fast. Nobody expected him to look this sharp this early, yet the calm on big downs is real, and it is breaking games open. Here is what makes it dangerous. Love is not waiting for a perfect pocket or a perfect call, he is making the right choice in the moment. He punishes soft zones with quick rhythm throws, holds a safety with his eyes, then rips the seam before help arrives. When coverage squeezes inside, he fades the ball outside the numbers, and when a shot is there, he trusts it without forcing the issue. The efficiency is showing up in the bigger picture too, with 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, a 66% completion rate, and 9.1 yards per attempt that signal a quarterback who is attacking without giving the ball away. All signs point to a quarterback and a system moving in step, which is where the story turns next. The play design is giving Love clear answers and layered options, and the sequencing is setting traps that look simple but hit hard. If you want to know why this offense keeps finding space against good defenses, it starts with how Matt LaFleur builds a plan that looks the same before the snap and becomes very different after it. Next, we break down the LaFleur blueprint and how it turns smart reads into explosive drives. The Green Bay Packers thrive on Matt LaFleur's system that constantly shifts the picture for defenses, repeating looks, but flipping the result just when opponents think they've caught on. Runs become strikes behind linebackers, screens disguise deep shots, and protection quietly adjusts so the quarterback always has a clean option. This rhythm not only sustains drives but forces teams into tough spots, letting Green Bay control the tone. And now, with Micah Parsons added on defense, the entire field tilts even further in their favor. The Green Bay Packers just added the most feared closer on defense, and the entire NFC felt it. Micah Parsons turns normal snaps into urgent ones because protection rules bend the second he steps wide or walks over the center. The shocking part is how quickly his presence changed the pace of games. One series with him on the edge and quarterbacks speed up throws, coordinators shrink the call sheet, and third down starts to feel like fourth. Here is why this is different. Parsons produced 8 pressures on 37 rushes against Washington with a 21.6% pressure rate and a 0.85 second get-off that ruins timing before routes even bloom. 6 pressures came after halftime, which tells you he is a finisher when legs get heavy. The ripple is just as important. Rashawn Gary sees cleaner lanes, Lucas Van Ness finds one-on-one chances, and Devonte Wyatt gets pockets to fold straight back. You cannot slide help everywhere, so someone you trust ends up alone, and that is when the ball comes out fast or hits the turf. Now picture that force meeting a defense that is learning how to squeeze space behind it. The plan belongs to Jeff Hafley, and it asks corners to challenge throws while the rush shortens the clock. If you want to see why Green Bay looks colder in the fourth quarter than in the first, it starts with that marriage of speed up front and discipline in the back. Next, we break down the defensive rebuild, how Keisean Nixon and company are changing angles, and why this secondary is silencing big names. The Green Bay Packers secondary has transformed into a shutdown unit, holding opponents to just 2 catches for 16 yards on 11 targets, with 6 breakups, 5 of them from Keisean Nixon, against top receivers like Terry McLaurin, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jameson Williams. Jeff Hafley's system keeps corners square, safeties closing seams, and playmakers like Xavier McKinney and Carrington Valentine turning pressure into turnovers, while the pass rush forces hurried throws. With the air game under control, the spotlight shifts to the run defense, where the front and linebackers are starting to squeeze lanes and cut off mobile quarterbacks, setting up the next test for a defense that looks increasingly complete. The Green Bay Packers have turned their run defense into a weapon, holding Detroit to 46 rushing yards and Washington to 50, one with David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jaden Daniels all bottled up. The front plays in unison. Devonte Wyatt collapsed the middle, Colby Wooden and Carl Brooks clog cutback lanes, Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness seal the edges, and Micah Parsons forces runners into traffic. Behind them, Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie, Edgerrin Cooper, and Xavier McKinney clean up with precision. This discipline not only stuffs short gains but also fuels the offense and unleashes the pass rush, creating the kind of balance that signals Green Bay is more than just an early season surprise. They look like a team built to shift the NFC race. Now it is your turn. Where do you rank Green Bay in the NFC right now? Top 2 or still chasing? Who is the true difference maker so far? Jordan Love, Micah Parsons, Josh Jacobs, Keisean Nixon, or someone else? Give your confidence score for this team from 1 to 100 and tell me the win total you see after the next 4 games. If you want more smart Packers breakdowns every week, subscribe, drop a like, and join the conversation in the comments.